everyone, Niklsun here, and welcome to Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. I'm your host, and on this show, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we'll be going over all of the day's movie news and going over what it means for the production in general, such as casting decisions, trailer announcements, director announcements, things like that. So, without any further ado, let's get started with today's Hot Topics. And the first topic we have to talk about today is Fox has unveiled their upcoming ComicCon slate. And one thing, again, very much like Warner Brothers, there's a very big glaring omission. So the official slate for Fox's upcoming Comic-Con panel is Book of Life, which is the Guillermo del Toro animated film which he's producing, The Maze Runner, which actually looks pretty good. There was another trailer for it in front of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes last night, and it actually looks pretty entertaining. There's the upcoming sequel/reboot Hitman Agent 47, which I'm assuming they're going to be unveiling the first trailer for the film. They're going to be bringing the cast out. A surprising one, Let's Be Cops is going to be there. I guess it's just because it does open up in a few weeks, but it looks hilarious, but Comic-Con is a very unusual place to be debuting that. And finally, they're going to be showing off stuff from Kingsman, the Secret Service, the one with Colin Firth, directed by Matthew Vaughn, the guy who did X-Men First Class. The biggest glaring omission from this is the Fantastic Four, because Fantastic Four is going to be opening up in June of next year, which means it's not going to be able to be shown at Comic-Con. They can probably talk about stuff for Fantastic Four 2 at Comic-Con next year, but the fact remains is that there's already been a lot of negativity around this project. A lot of people have succumbed to that, or they're no longer succumbed to that negativity anymore. But the fact that they were going with a younger cast, that there's the rumor going around that it's going to have a found footage feel. There's a lot of negativity going around with this project, and bringing it to Comic-Con and perhaps maybe showing off a little bit of footage, not a trailer perhaps, maybe just a little bit of a teaser to get an idea or a sense of what they're going with. It's very surprising that they're not going to be doing that. And this is now, one thing that I noticed with this is the second major comic book film that is not going to be making an appearance at Comic-Con. Like, you have movies like Let's Be Cops and Book of Life and movies like this that they don't really have anything to do with Comic-Con. They don't have anything to do with comics, even though movie studios now use Comic-Con as a launching pad for a lot of their projects. We now have Batman v Superman is supposedly not showing up, although I'm very skeptical of that. I'm assuming that the last 15 minutes of Warner Brothers panel is going to be devoted to DC. But now with Fox not having anything to do with Fantastic Four or any of their upcoming films, because they've already announced that the Wolverine 3, or whatever it's going to be called, is going to be coming out in March of 2017. They have X-Men Apocalypse coming out in 2016. They have Fantastic Four 2 coming out in 2017. An unannounced film coming out in 2018, which they could announce at this Comic-Con, but they probably won't. That'll probably be next year. But still, I mean, it's really surprising to me. I mean, you don't necessarily need to show footage. Have a presence there and get your film noticed, get your film known. Like, I think that's one thing that could have helped Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles last year. Even though they had only started filming, bring your project to there. Talk to the fans. Let them know your vision. I understand people want to keep it secret. You don't need to give out specific details. Let them know the tone. Let them know the way that you're going about it, your vision for that project. That's all you need to do, because people will go against you if they don't. If they keep hearing rumor after rumor after rumor, or something that's negative. You know, there's Ant-Man, perfect example. They're bringing Ant-Man to Comic-Con. The main reason is because of all the negativity that's surrounding this project. They're getting ahead of it, they're getting out in front of it, and they're going to try to stop it where it is and say, listen, this is our project. This is what we're doing with it, and we want to show you guys this, and we want to bring it to you. That's how I feel that they're going about it. But Fox and Warner Brothers, to me, it's surprising that they're not bringing it here, especially Warner Brothers, the fact that they've already released publicity stills for the movie, and they're not bringing it. Like, I don't understand the logistics behind this decision, unless they are making it a surprise appearance, at which point it's not really a surprise, because people are now anticipating that it's going to be that. And if it's not, that could have even further backlash. And these are the fans. I mean, I understand that the fans of the source material are a very small percentage of the overall population that's going to go and see this film. But still, these are the people that could potentially have a stronger voice to express their opinions and potentially influence other people's decision. And for them not to bring it here, it's striking to me. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. I just don't get it. If when Comic-Con comes up, because again, during Comic-Con, I will be showcasing the show from Los Angeles. I will be in Los Angeles that week. So I will be doing a video pretty much every single day that I'm down there. So if any news does come out about this project, or they do sneak in an announcement, the main reason that a lot of people are assuming they're going to be doing this as a surprise as well is because an insider from one of the movie news sites out there actually stated that the cast themselves are coming. And why else would the cast come if they're not going to be part of a panel? So they are going to be attending Comic-Con. Now, they could each be attending something for different reasons or different projects that they're all a part of. I don't know. It would be weird that all 5 of them, that Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan, Kate Mara, Jamie Bell, and Toby Kebbell would all be appearing there and not be at the Fantastic Four panel if there is one. So that to me is just surprising. But if they do end up appearing and there is a big story that is unveiled, then I will definitely update this on here for you guys. And the next topic that we have to talk about, Universal has sent out a wrap photo, essentially. Fast and Furious 7 just recently wrapped production. They are finished filming the movie. It is still on track for April 3rd, 2015 to come out. But they shared a very heartfelt message about how taxing this production has been. And a lot of people will say, oh, they're millionaires. Like, how taxing could it be? They're being compensated and all this, that, and the other thing. You have to remember that the people who are involved in this project have worked on almost every other Fast and Furious film, which means that they were all very close. They are a family. As much as the characters in the movies are, the casting crew themselves in real life have become kind of a family. And when they lost one of their main family members late last year, it crushed them all. Like, I still remember the video of Tyrese going up to the site of the crash, and he broke down. He couldn't even speak. He was bawling his eyes out, and it rightfully so. Like, it was a terrible, terrible tragedy that happened, and it was very sad. A lot of people didn't really know what was going to happen with the status of the film, and that's almost selfish to think about, and you almost feel guilty about thinking that way. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that that was something that Paul Walker fought his life for, was this franchise. And seeing this film come to fruition, as odd as it sounds, seeing this film come to fruition and having it be finalized and realized is probably a life accomplishment for him. Like, that would have been something, if he had still have been around, that would have been something that he would have fought hard for. He put his blood, sweat, and tears into this project and into this franchise. And the fact of the matter is that this movie is going to be very different, I think, than it originally sought out to be, because they did have to rewrite the Brian O'Connor character. And the reason being is because when they were casting the movie, way back last summer, when they were casting the movie, and they brought back in, what's his name? The actor from Tokyo Drift, the guy who played Sean. He was signed on for 3 more films. So this film was designed to launch a new trilogy. And there's a lot of speculation going around right now that this may indeed be the final Fast and Furious film. Most of the time, studios will look at it and see if a movie is making money, regardless of what happens, they're going to stop doing it. And some people out there have been drawing comparisons to The Dark Knight. When Heath Ledger died, they didn't stop making the Batman movies. But it's first off, it's because he wasn't Batman, he was Joker, so he was just a villain. They could move on to another villain. It was a completely different type of franchise because it wasn't based around any one specific actor. It was about the character. When it comes to Fast and Furious is always going to be associated with Vin Diesel and Paul Walker. And now Paul Walker, unfortunately, is no longer with us. Therefore, moving forward on any of their films is going to be a little bit more difficult than I think they originally intended to. And potentially in bad taste as well. Not to say, like, it all depends on what their original story was. If their storyline did not involve Brian, and I've always had a theory that because you could see the shift in Fast and Furious 6, all the focus was shifting more towards Vin Diesel's character, especially with Jason Statham coming in and saying, Dominic Toretto, you don't know me, but I know you, and we're going to be seeing each other soon. that message was directed more so at Vin Diesel's character and his crew, but Vin was going to be the main target. And I've always had the assumption that in this film, they were going to kill the Brian O'Connor character. I've always had that assumption. I have nothing to base that on other than what I've just described to you right now. But I always felt that that was going to be the case. And if that's the case, and they had to rewrite that because of potentially how he was going to be killed, that could then destroy what the future storyline is going to be. Because we really don't know. All we know is that they did sign on, or I'm still drawing a blank on, I can see his face. Lucas Black signed on for 3 films, 7, 8, and 9. So if they do decide to go ahead with it, it's going to be interesting to see what storylines or what story arcs they decide to try to channel or try to go through. But as it stands right now, it's looking likely that Fast and Furious 7 is potentially going to be the final film of this franchise. And I mean, if this ends up being the best one, which a lot of people have said that there's a lot going on in this movie that is going to be very different than what we've seen before in the Fast and Furious franchise, it could very well be that. But the photo that they released along with it, they actually released 2 of them. They released one of Dom sitting with the Los Angeles skyline behind him in his Toretto mechanic shirt, the one that we all remember him from the first one, and he ended Fast and Furious 6 wearing. We are aware that Los Angeles is going to be the majority location for Fast and Furious 7. They are going to Dubai. I believe some of it takes place in Atlanta, although Atlanta could have been doubling for rural areas of Los Angeles. We still don't know that yet. But the fact remains is that you can see the love in this project, especially just looking at someone like Dom and Vin Diesel, and the loyalty not only that his character does, but he does to the franchise. I know you can't see that in the photo. It's just a photo of him sitting there kind of brooding. It was just a nice touch for them to put that out there with the wrap of production. But another photo was released as well on Vin Diesel's Facebook page. And it was kind of bringing something back from the first movie that we hadn't seen since. And they haven't even mentioned it since. But we are going to be getting race wars in Fast and Furious 7. Again, it's part of the Los Angeles location. But he did share this photo talking about how they had hundreds and hundreds of extras came out to make this race wars sequence just really make it worth it. And it's just nice to see someone like Vin Diesel reenacting with it, or not reenacting, but acting with his fans and connecting with them and having them be a part of the process. It's rare that you see actors do that, and it's really nice to see something like that. So we know production is officially wrapped. Now they're going to go into the hectic post-production schedule, mainly with Weta, to try to digitally recreate Paul Walker using his brothers as body doubles to finish out his sequences. I'm assuming that because it comes out in April, that probably by the fall, I'd say probably by October, we're going to have our first image of the computer-rendered Paul Walker. I think I think they're going to release a standalone photo of Caleb or Cody with Paul Walker's face digitally composed onto him. I think we're going to see that probably by October, maybe November, but the movie comes out in April, so they're not going to wait until the Super Bowl to debut the first trailer like they did with Fast and Furious 6. They're going to be probably doing it in November or December, and then going from there. But Fast and Furious 7 opens on April 3rd, 2015. If we get more information about this project, I will definitely update you guys on here. And the next topic that we have to talk about today, Alec Baldwin looks to be joining the cast of Mission Impossible 5. He's going to be joining a cast already of Tom Cruise, Jeremy Renner, and Simon Pegg. So all those characters are going to be reteaming for Mission Impossible 5. Alec Baldwin is going to be joining as the head of the CIA, which is interesting because the CIA is not the company that Ethan Hunt works for. So I wonder if we're going to get two spy agencies essentially going head-to-head. Either that or it was just a typo, and he's actually going to be the head of the Mission Impossible organization. But Rebecca Ferguson has also landed the lead female role, which is, I find that kind of surprising because if you have Simon Pegg and Jeremy Renner reteaming, why not try to get Paula Patton back and have that same character? Unless either Paula Patton did not want to come back, or the script never even called for her in the first place, which I just find is surprising. But we do know that Christopher McQuarrie is directing it, and there's even more positivity about that now because Not only did he direct Jack Reacher, which I thought was a really great film, but he also was one of the writers on Edge of Tomorrow, which if you haven't seen Edge of Tomorrow, it's a fantastic film. It's funny, it's got a lot of action in it, it's got a lot of heart, the storyline is really great, and it's one of Tom Cruise's best performances that he's done probably in the last 10 years. So I definitely recommend to check it out if you haven't checked it out yet. But with Mission Impossible 5 reeling its head, and as far as I'm aware, they're planning on shooting in the fall, like October, November is when they plan to start shooting. And the movie is scheduled to be released Christmas Day 2015, although that most likely is a placeholder. They're probably going to move it about a week or two earlier, because 1 week before this is Star Wars. So that is a very hectic time frame to have any movie in theaters, because most people out there are going to go and see Star Wars. So I can see them bumping that probably to November 2015. But we won't know any more until they officially start actually rolling cameras, which hopefully should be in the fall. But if we get more information about this project, I'll definitely update you guys on here. In our next topic, it actually looks as though something that I talked about last week, there's more truth to it coming out. And it looks as though, now this, I'm going to start off with saying that this could potentially be a spoiler for Batman v Superman, because we don't know anything 100% yet about this film outside of the cast, but we don't know any story details whatsoever that are confirmed. We just have what the leaked photos said last week, and now this potential story here. So this comes to us from Bleeding Cool, and Bleeding Cool are reporting from their most trusted sources who have been involved with Warner Brothers production of Batman v Superman, that they have seen concept drawings of Doomsday. And they are saying that it's very likely that Doomsday will appear in Batman v Superman as the 5th villain. Five villains. It's insane. Excuse me. It's insane. It's almost too many. Depends on how they're used. If they're all used as kind of underlings, which the 3 other villains that are going to be in the movie are all lower quality villains. Well, sorry, not lower quality. Lower villains. Just lower villains. But it does tie in with the set video, or the set photos that we saw last week of the Superman statue that had been completely obliterated. There were people standing around in formal wear, holding red flowers. There was, military and naval people there. There was, it looked to be someone playing the mayor was there, giving some kind of a eulogy. So it does look as though we are going to be getting some form of the Death of Superman storyline. This only just adds to that confirmation. The one thing, though, if it is true, I hope that he is introduced at the end, or they build up to Doomsday, introduce him at the end, he destroys Superman, Batman then vows to put a team together to destroy him, that leads into Justice League goes after Doomsday, and then through Justice League, Superman somehow comes back. That's how I feel the storyline going. If this is indeed true, I hope that Doomsday is not just used in this film and then killed. That would be absolutely retarded. That would be the dumbest decision that Warner Brothers could have ever made, ever. Because you have Doomsday, you have Darkseid, and that's really it for level of destruction villains that Superman has. There are other villains, absolutely, but none of that caliber. Nothing of that caliber of Doomsday or Darkseid. And if they do Darkseid, or if they do Doomsday in Batman v Superman, and Darkseid is the villain in Justice League, they have destroyed themselves, because they no longer have anything that is worthy of a fight compared to that. I mean, if they could beat Darkseid, if they could beat Doomsday, they could beat anything. So it wouldn't make any sense for them to do that. But it would make sense for that to be what brings the Justice League together, if that is the way that they are planning on doing it. So if that is the case, and he is just introduced in this film, destroys Superman, that leads into Justice League, that's fine, because then you're spreading Doomsday out over multiple films. You can really start to develop the actual character of Doomsday and then unleash him in a full feature, instead of having to do both of them in one movie and really being constrained by what you could do. So I feel that if they go this route, he should just be introduced near the end, or have the character be introduced throughout the film, or referenced throughout the film, that there is this cosmic entity that is out there, and then have Doomsday appear at the end, have a big showdown between Batman, Superman, and Doomsday, have Doomsday kill Superman. Maybe Batman does something to get Doomsday out of there. He sees Superman dead and says that we're going to stop this. Aquaman might show up. It's all going to depend on how all these characters really get together. And I think that's what could be it. It could, however, get into Marvel territory, because that's essentially how the Avengers were brought together. Coulson was killed, and the Avengers then said, okay, well, we now all have to bond together because we now have all lost a friend, and we need to go and stop that person. That could be a very similar storyline. I really don't know. I'm just speculating at this point, but that sounds very likely based on what we are hearing. So if we get more information about Batman v Superman, and all likelihood that we're going to be hearing something about them from ComicCon, even though they said that they're not going to be part of Warner Brothers ComicCon lineup, which is dumb. But if we get more information about this, I'll definitely update you guys on here. All right, and so that brings us to our user questions section. So normally every week on every episode, I advise people if they have any questions or topics or anything of that sort that you would like to have discussed on the show, you can go ahead and put them in the comment section. You can talk about them on our Facebook page, facebook.com/movie news with Niklsun, or you can email us at gmail.com or at our website, movienewswithniklsun.ca, under the contact section. There's a whole section in there where you can put comment, question, topic, anything you want to just discuss, or even just say anything. You can put it in there and we'll talk about it on the Friday episode. So the user question today comes from Jason Mercier. And Jason asks us, what can you tell us about Michael Pitt? Specifically because he has a lot of upcoming projects, but his role on Hannibal as Mason Verger is just breathtaking. Now, I have not watched the new Hannibal series yet. I have it in my Netflix queue. I am going to be watching it as soon as I get a chance to, but I have not watched it yet. But he is on Boardwalk Empire, and I've seen a few episodes of Boardwalk Empire, and he's great on that. But the thing about Michael Pitt is very similar to Ryan Gosling in that he is an artist. Or Viggo Mortensen, even better example. He's an artist. He's in it to challenge himself, to go after a role that he might not think that he can do, or try something that he's never done before. He's not about the fame. He's not about doing a project to get his name out there. The only one that he's ever done that was like that, and I don't even know if that was the full decision, and it was actually where I was introduced to Michael Pitt, was a movie called Murder by Numbers, which came out about 12 years ago, and it was with Sandra Bullock. Ryan Gosling was actually in it as well. It was one of his first big movies that he did. He did Remember the Titans, and he did Murder by Numbers, and those were two of the first films that really kind of got his star out there. Outside of, was he Young Sherlock Holmes? Or not sure, was he Young Sherlock Holmes? He was either Young Sherlock Holmes or Young Indiana Jones. I can't remember which one he was. But he, like, you could tell in that movie, that was more about, because he was still an up-and-coming actor, he didn't have the ability or the acting chops necessarily, not necessarily the acting chops, but the notoriety to his ability that he did that he does now. So doing a movie like Murder by Numbers was just to kind of get him out there. It was a tentpole movie with Sandra Bullock in the lead, but it was released around a time where Hollywood was just dishing out crap left, right, and center. I remember that being a very bad time for movies. And he's very much in that sense where they don't go after fame, they don't go after money, they don't do that. They go after what is the art going, how is the art going to challenge me? How is this going to make me a better actor? How am I going to be able to stretch my talents? That's the type of person that Michael Pitt is. And that's also why, with a lot of his upcoming projects, none of them are big. Like, none of them are Marvel films. None of them are DC. None of them are Star Wars. None of them are these big franchise movies. Because, for the most part, there's not a lot for an actor to do in a lot of these franchises. Now, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes has completely turned that on its head. Again, if you have not seen Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, go and see it. It is wonderful. It is mesmerizing. It is unbelievable. Check out my review, which I posted up earlier today, and it is unbelievable. If you are not going to see it this weekend, change those plans and go and see it. It is fantastic. But anyway, they don't look at those roles as meaty, as something that they can really get their fingers into and really take charge of. They don't see that in most of those roles, so that's why they don't do them. They do their indie fare. They do their projects that are very close to their heart, their passion projects. And that's one of the reasons why he hasn't really broken out. I love Michael Pitt as an actor. I think he's fantastic. And I would love to see him in more mainstream stuff just because more people need to be introduced to this guy. And that's one of the downsides. When they do choose to go more towards indie fare, people don't notice them. They don't realize that they're out there. And it's a real shame because Michael Pitt is definitely an actor to watch out for. And I have a feeling that with something like Boardwalk Empire being on his resume, he's going to get more and more projects offered to him. So I don't think that we're ever going to see Michael Pitt break out into A-list, but he is going to, I feel that he is going to become a much larger force to be reckoned with in Hollywood as the years go on. Because he's getting smarter and smarter and smarter as he gets older with choosing the right projects for him. So I have no doubt that we're going to be seeing him in a big project somewhere down the line. But as it stands right now, he's very much an artist, first and foremost. He does not care about the money more. Well, I mean, he obviously cares to live, but he doesn't care about the big paychecks. He cares about what the project is and what the character is. So I hope that answered your question. If you want me to go any more into it or anything of that sort, just put a comment in the comment section or do what you did last time and just go right onto our Facebook page. All right, well, this has been Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have been a great audience. You can go ahead and click subscribe there in the bottom corner. You can get updates whenever we post a new video. You can also follow us on Twitter at Niklsun, Niklsun, for all of your updates on movie information. And you can also find us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/movie news with Niklsun. You can start a discussion on there, just ask a general question, and like it was today, it'll be answered on every Friday episode. So without any further ado, this has been Niklsun. You guys have been great, and you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.